Hi, I'm Catherine Cordy Andrew, digital editor for Family Tree magazine. If you're anything like me, you've spent hundreds of hours digging through newspaper archives just trying to find that one obituary or even a mention of your ancestor's name. Well, there's a new tool, a relaunched tool, that makes this process a lot easier Elephind.com. It just relaunched at the end of September 2025 with a bunch of new features, and today I'll show you how to use it to search through millions of digitized newspaper pages across many different collections all in one place. Elephant isn't a newspaper database, it's a search engine. It was built by the team behind Viridian Software, which is one of Family Tree Magazine's 101 best websites of 2025. So it's a search engine. That means it doesn't host the newspapers itself, but it links to the archives and libraries that do. This makes it a very powerful tool for finding smaller, regional, student, and community newspapers that bigger search engines often overlook. So, this is the home screen for Elephant. There's some more information down here that we'll get to in a bit, but in the About page is where you'll learn more about the organization and what Elephant is, as well as the creators of Viridian. But let's jump into what we're really here to learn about, which is the newspaper collections. So, the newspaper collections, again, Elephant is a search engine, so the newspaper collections are hosted at the organization's own platform on their own website. Now, at its launch at the end of September 2025, Elephant was able to search through 13 million pages. Now, it's nearly at 26 million pages. So, new pages are being added quite frequently and regularly. On this page, you'll find a list of all of these organizations that have contributed to Elephant and allows Elephant to search through their collections. If you click on one of these links, you'll be taken to that organization's own website, but you can at least see a bit of what Elephant has that it can search through here. Another way to do that is to scroll down and you'll see newspaper titles in Elephant. This will be also updated as things are added. And here you can look through them by alphabetical order, by newspaper title. So if you wanted a newspaper that started with A, you can click that. So Elephant gives you two ways to search. The first one is the traditional keyword search that we are used to with other search engines. So that is looking for exact matches. You can use quotation marks around phrases, so it looks for those specific words, that sort of thing. They also have this new technology called Smart Search. Now, Smart Search is very, very cool. That is a search that looks for broader, meaning based results that use context, synonyms, and related ideas. So, for example, you can actually ask Elephant questions. So, in here, I'll show you when was baseball invented? And then press search. So, it will now look through all these newspapers and try to figure out the answer to that question. So here we can sort of see it's giving the man who invented baseball, first ever baseball game right here, or going down even more. There's more and more of these different results. Another cool feature of Smart Search is you can actually type in modern language terms and it will look for the synonym of that in a historical context. So, for example, if I type in World War One soldier illnesses and then I press enter for searching, I can go to 1910 to 1919 if I want contemporary accounts, and it will come up with diseases that are um, affecting soldiers during World War One. Now, remember, it's using World War One as a synonym. It's looking for a synonym from World War One. They weren't writing World War One during World War One. It was a war, the Great War, but the term World War One didn't exist then. So you can actually see here, it's coming up with these different things as well. So that's also very neat. So Smart Search really allows you to ask full questions, not just type the keywords. So it's perfect to explore how your ancestors lived, worked, celebrated, what was going on in a community during that time. So, for example, I know that there are some Michigan newspapers that Elephant can search for. So, if I wanted to, let me get rid of this filter. If I wanted to ask, what is the best crop to grow in St. Joseph County, Michigan? Question mark. And then press search. It will come up with some interesting articles immediately. So we can see some stuff from the 70s here. But let's say, okay, I would like to make sure that it's only targeting the 1930s. Then I'll click down here under decade, 1930 to 1939. And then it will show me under collection which collections it's pulling it from. Now, it might not be applicable if it's a newspaper from Wyoming, but maybe it is. And then under publication, it'll list all of the publications, the newspapers themselves that Elephant has found an article in that has results here. So I've reset the search and gone back to the homepage so that I can show you another kind of way to search and some more features. So I've selected keyword search, and then I've typed in the name of somebody that I know appears in the newspapers that Elephant can search through. So in this case, we're doing Arthur L. Ruoff. Then I'll press search, and we'll get these results for the keyword search. So there's 1 to 14. So there's only 14 results here. Most of them are from the Cornell University's Daily Sun publication. So let's see, 9 gain the rank of professor seems interesting. Looking at these different things seem pretty interesting to me. But, ooh, professor's breakthrough seen as significant. So I'm going to click that. Now remember, Elephant itself is a search engine. It is not a database. So it redirects me to Cornell University's online newspaper database. So here we can see, and most of these websites will look similar. We can see that it's highlighted the article itself. And we have some options that we can do here, including looking at this text. As you go through some of these texts, you're going to start noticing some OCR errors, but sometimes you're able to make corrections to them or suggest corrections. Now for this, I'd want to clip it, press check mark, and then it will let me download the full image to my computer. And it also gives some citation information. But again, Elephant itself is a search engine. It is not the database that you're finding this information from. So when you make your citations for your genealogy project or your family history writing, you're going to want to cite, in this case, the Cornell University newspaper database. You are not going to want to cite Elephant. So let's go back to those search results. Here we are. There's 14 of them. Now, we've gone through some of these filters that you can use here, but I'm going to show you another tool that is very unique and very cool, to be honest, with Elephant, and that is the AI Summary Assistant. So you get to it by clicking this green button on the lower right-hand part of the page, and up pops this chatbot looking sort of thing, right? Now, the AI Summary Assistant can summarize or extract key information from the first 20 results of a page. In this case, we only have 14 results, so it should be able to do this fairly easily. But in the last example, where we had over 700 or something, you can only get results from, or summaries from, that first 20. Anything past that, you can't, it won't work. So the interesting thing about this is, of course, it can summarize things for you, right? You can type any question that you have immediately into the box below. So if I want to type something like, who is Arthur Ruoff, I could do that. But it also gives you 4 prompts that are the same for any search that you make. Even if it's a smart search, it will do this as well. You can summarize the retrieved papers. You can, with respect to the search, you can summarize it just in general, ask for different perspectives on what you're searching, or elaborate on the broad topics. So let's just say I want to summarize the retrieved papers. So I'll click that and it will immediately just summarize it for me. And it will give me links to these clippings. So here we see it summarized each of these articles and it says, you know, this article states that he was promoted. This one, he was leading a seminar. He was awarded a prize, those sorts of things. Now, you can think of this AI summary assistant as sort of a research helper, okay? But I ask you to please always double check the details that it's giving you. OCR errors can sometimes make it difficult for it to be able to even read or summarize something, especially if things are spelled wrong or there's random spaces between a few letters. But also, as with any kind of AI tool, especially chatbots, AI interpretation can occasionally distort the facts or hallucinate details that aren't actually there. So now we're back at the homepage, and I'm sure that you've noticed by now these two buttons on the top right hand of the screen, sign up and log in. Now, currently, Elephind, you don't need to sign up or log in to use it. It is free, but it is free because they're in the experimental stage. They have just relaunched, so they're making it free to use, and you don't need to have an account. You can create an account that will send you email notifications about when new features or new newspapers are added to the search engine, and also give you community updates, but that's not required for you to use it. They do also have two paid versions, which basically is going to help support them expanding the search engine and Elephant. Um, the reason why it won't remain free to use for eternity is because of just how much time and money and um, effort it takes to create and update and host such a large tool for the genealogy world. Um, the reason why they had to relaunch is because a few years ago, they had to take the site down because it costs so much to maintain and upkeep. So that is why eventually there will be a paid version of Elephant. So there you have it. The newly relaunched Elephant version 2.0 makes it just that easy to explore historic newspaper collections from across the country, soon to be in different languages and maybe across the globe. So, whether you're a genealogist, a historian, or simply interested in the past, it's worth bookmarking. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe to Family Tree Magazine's YouTube channel for more genealogy tutorials and research tips. And if you go to our website, make sure you sign up for our e newsletter where we send you expert advice, updates on podcasts, and new articles every month.